जय विष्णु जय विष्णुपाद ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरान्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरोन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमोस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौरांगी श्रीराधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी क्षमानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वच्चकासिन्धुभ्यो च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसती गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। कम करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिकृपा तमोदशोणं परमानन्दं श्री चैतन्येश्वर। हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण। Today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 27, Text number 10. निवृत्त बुद्धि अवस्थानो निवृत्त बुद्धि अवस्थानो निवृत्त बुद्धि अवस्थानो दूरीभूतान्य दर्शनः दूरीभूतान्य दर्शनः उपलभ्यात्मनात्मानम् चक्षुसेवार्कमात्मदृक् निवृत्त बुद्धि अवस्थानो दूरीभूतान्य दर्शनः उपलभ्यात्मनात्मानम् चक्षुसेवार्कमात्मदृक् निवृत्त बुद्धि अवस्थानो दूरीभूतान्य दर्शन उपलभ्यात्मनात्मानं चक्षुसेवार्कमात्मदृक् निवृत्त बुद्धि अवस्थानो दूरीभूतान्य दर्शनः उपलभ्यात्मनात्मानं चक्षुसेवार्कमात्मदृक्
Nivritta buddhi avasthano Duri bhutanya darshanaha Upalabhyatmanam Chakshuseva Karkamatmadrik
Nivritta buddhyavastano Duribhutanya darshanaha Upalabhyatmanatmanam Chakshuseva
Just address it.
Nivritta buddhyavastano
Pribhutanya darshana
Duribhutanya darshana
Ulapayatmanatmanam
Upalabhyatmanatmanam
Chakshusevarkamatmudre
Nivritta,
Nivritta
transcended.
transcended
Buddhi avasthana, the stages of mental consciousness. Duri bhuta, far off. Anya, other. Darshanaha, conception of life. Yeah, having realized. Atmana, Atmana, by his purified intellect. Atmanam, his own self. Chakshusa, with his eyes. Iva, as. Arkam, the sun. Atmadrik, the self-realized. Translation. One should be, translation is done one should be situated in the transcendental position beyond the stages of mental consciousness and should be aloof from all other conceptions of life. Thus, realizing freedom from false ego, one should see his own self just as he sees the sun in the sky. Consciousness acts in 3 stages under the material conception of life. When we are awake, consciousness acts in a particular way. When we are asleep, it acts in a different way. And when we are in deep sleep, consciousness acts in still another way. To become Krishna conscious, one has to become transcendental to these 3 stages of consciousness. Our present consciousness should be freed from all perceptions of life other than consciousness of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is called Duri Bhutanya Darshanaha, which means that when one attains perfect Krishna consciousness, he does not see anything but Krishna. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said that the perfect devotee may see many movable and immovable objects, but in everything he sees that the energy of Krishna is acting. As soon as he remembers the energy of Krishna, he immediately remembers Krishna in his personal form. Therefore, in all his observations, he sees Krishna only. In the Brahma Samhita 5.38, it is stated that when one's eyes are smeared with the love of Krishna, Brahmanjana Charita, he always sees Krishna outside and inside. This is confirmed here. One should be freed from all other vision. And in that way, he is freed from the false egoistic identification and sees himself as the eternal servitor of the Lord. Chakshusevarkam. As we can see the sun without a doubt, one who is fully developed in Krishna consciousness sees Krishna and his energy. By this vision, one becomes Atmadrik, or self-realized. When the false ego of identifying the body with the self is removed, actual vision of the life is perceivable. The senses therefore also become purified. Real service of the Lord begins when the senses are purified. One does not have to stop the activities of the senses, but the false ego of identifying with the body has to be removed. Thus, the senses automatically become purified. And with purified senses, one can actually discharge duties. Hare Krishna. I neither have any qualification nor do have any realization. I seek blessings from all of you. Whatever I just heard in the past, I'll just repeat it. So, this is Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 27. Chapter entitled, what is the name of the chapter? Modes of Material Nature?
Fundamental principles of material.
Fundamental Principles of Material Nature. So, actually, there is a conversation between Mother Devahuti and Kapila Muni, and he's talking about this. Why are we present here? Why should we come and attend Mangalarti? Then why should we chant for a couple of hours? Then why should we attend class? When everyone is sleeping and, so one needs to know why we are doing this. One has to remind himself or herself why I'm doing this. We want to become free from the influence of material energy Maya. It's called Trigunatmaka Maya. We are chained with three modes. Sangohi Ayam Purusha. We are actually pure spirit soul. And because we exhibited our desire to enjoy independence of Krishna, so we are kept in this material situation. And we are given a temporary body of 206 bones, blood, flesh, and marrow. And we are absorbed in that consciousness, and we are trying to enjoy matter. Whatever we do in this world is nothing but dealing with the dead matter. Name and fame is also dead matter, actually. Of subtle matter. Any food that we eat is actually dead matter. Of course, prasad is spiritualized. Prasad is what? Spiritualized matter. It's matter, but that has been spiritualized by Krishna's grace. So a soul cannot be eternally happy enjoying with matter, because matter is dead all the time. Soul is a spirit, conscious. Spiritual world, everything is conscious. So a soul cannot be happy continuously enjoying with matter. No. So even if you have the best foods, if you keep on eating them, still you're not happy. Sex life is the happiest thing. Prostitutes are the happiest people on the planet, but you don't see them happy, actually. So even people having so much name and fame, they're always worried when they will lose their reputation. So in other words, the conditioned soul, we conditioned souls, we are trying to find happiness by enjoying senses, the sense objects which are actually nothing but matter. Still, the end result is same, anxiety, because there is no pure pleasure in this world. So yesterday, Shyam Kishore Prabhu read this wonderful verse. One's seeing power should be increased through the knowledge of spirit and matter, and one should not unnecessarily identify himself with the body and thus become attracted by bodily relationships. It's a slap for anybody. Anybody who's, whether Grihastha, Brahmachari, or Sannyasi, or Vanaprastha, it's a very heavy statement, actually. One should not unnecessarily identify himself with the body and thus become attracted by bodily relationships. All right. False ego is the rope that binds this body to the soul. And when we expressed our envy towards Krishna, our rebellion towards Krishna, we are kept in this body. And we are chained. First of all, we are bound by three modes. Guna means rope. And one day Maya pulls the rope of Sattvagun. and you give charity and you feel happy. Another day, Maya pulls the rope of Rajagun. You become very, what is that, fruity oriented. I should become this, I should become that. Or sense enjoyment. Another day, you want to sleep. When you're impelled with tamogun, you just want to take fully drunk and sleep. What is the end result? Tiny pleasure and this one suffering. That's it. That's my experience. In Sattvagun, you have a relatively, especially as devotees, they have to a certain extent sharpened their buddhi, intelligence. And when you are situated in Sattvagun, and very interestingly, what is that? Our consciousness shifts. There are three things he said: Jagrata, Swapna, Sushupti. So awake, dreaming, and deep sleep. When you are awake, your consciousness, you are very cautious of, especially devotees, you are very cautious of what mind is telling you. And when mind tells you, actually Chaitanya Chandra very nicely presented it. Sachitananda soul, Satchitananda, but we have a mind, and our consciousness, actually, imagine I am the soul, this is intelligence, this is mind. These are the two faculties, they're exactly like this actually. Two different rooms. So our consciousness flows through mind. So it's called chitta. Chit consciousness flows through chitta. But there's intelligence, buddhi. Hey, don't do that. Don't do that. In goodness, you can exhibit better control on mind actually. But when you're impelled by Rajagun people, they don't have so much control. Please listen very carefully. A thought is presented. If you're situated very well in goodness, first of all, most of the people, they think they are mind actually. But we know we are not the mind because we read Bhagavad Gita. And I want everyone to see my hand. The mind has presented. So, if you're impelled by Raja or Tamo, and I cannot turn my head, that's why I'm turning this. Zoop, it comes like this. And you interview with the thought. When you interview with the thought, then immediate thinking, feeling, and will in 3 minutes, actually not even 3 minutes, actually 10 seconds, it changes to, I should do this. Whether eating anything, I should do this. You'll judge immediately. Sometimes it takes a couple of hours, sometimes it takes days and years. But I have to do this. And the thread-like thought becomes an iron rod. You cannot even bend and you'll do it. And mind gets some pleasure. He made a nice statement, I loved it. When you fulfill your desires, you feel good. When you can't fulfill your desire, you're miserable. But when you fulfill your desire, you feel good, but you're not like, Paramahansa, I have become Paramahansa. No. Like, some sweet to eat. I don't need it. 2-3 days, mind acts like a pure devotee. What is that? Sankalpa Vikalpa, accept and reject. So, but again, I want it. Every time you give it to your mind, there is a conditioning. You are defeated by mind. Next time, your ability to fight with that goes down. It is true with bad habits, it is true with good habits. Versus bad habits, because they are not good for our life. And Jagruti, this is about Jagruti. Everyone is listening?
Yes.
The second one is something like, Tamogun, you have very little or no control on mind actually. And literally mind takes a ride for you. That's why if somebody is falling asleep, they cannot exhibit good control in chanting. Even if you're actually, visualizing, it is covered. It is just covered, and you are trying to barely hear the holy name. You're a slave in the hands of your senses and your mind. Literally, you have very little or no control in mind. Then the swapna. The next is Jagrati, Swapna, Sushupti. Sushupti, Swapna means dreaming. Daytime you see so many pictures. And what happens? They're mixed up. Gold, mountain. You'll have a golden mountain. Most of the time it doesn't mean anything, Madhvacharya says. And second thing is that the dream goes for a very long time and you listen only 2-3 minutes. You don't remember so many things. But the third one, these two, in Bhakti Tirtha Swami writes that in Sushupti and dream, we don't have a good, your discriminative faculty, buddhi is not very active. Then sometimes what happens, mind forcefully enters into the sensual level. When mind forcefully enters into the sensual level, unknowingly your body will go through, unwillingly, by your unwillingness, your body will go through changes. Some things will happen, which will make you unhappy the next day. So Bhakti Swami says, real progress means you should be able to exhibit the control on mind, even at that second level, so Swapna and Sushupti, which is almost next to impossible. Yes or no? Or at daytime itself, we are unable to. That's why real spiritual progress is not the things you achieve. Real spiritual progress is internal. Everyone is listening. At least let us focus on Jagrati. We should not do wrong things. We should not offend devotees. So to the extent you exhibit your control, you sharpen your buddhi, sharpen your intelligence, that much extent you subdue your mind. To the extent you subdue your mind, that much extent you'll be relatively peaceful. I didn't use the word happy. At least peaceful. Then we'll address the other two things later. But then the problem is the false ego is the one. Many times I told myself I can never apply Trinadabhisunichana. But if you want to go to Nishta stage, you have to go through the door of Trinadabhisunichana. That's why these positions are very deadly. They are good for nothing actually. They have no value. They have literally no value. One time, in fact, if you're not careful, they'll kill you also. One time, all the rats came together. They decided to bell the cat. Then, but everyone is scared. Finally, some rats said, "We will lead the project." So project of belling the cat. Fine. So then we should be the leader. All right. Then you need a crown. So then they made a council of cats and rats, and one king. So how do you identify themselves? I mean, separate from the rest of the rats. You need a crown. So they brought some branches. They crowned them. As they were talking, suddenly cat came. Then cat came, all the rats, they ran away. These rats also tried to run away, but because they were crowned, they could not get into the hole. So very safely the cat, satisfied the hunger of the belly that day. So that's why leaders, if they don't practice Trinadabhisunichana, it's not easy. So they, of course, you get some grace when you take up the difficult process. So what I'm trying to tell is, the previous verse, our ego makes us identify with the position. In the family, hey, I'm the head of the family, I'm the father. You'll try to control the family. Devotees, we control. Whatever is the domain, our domain, kshetra, we try to control. And with the full consciousness, I am this, which is not, which is very temporary. I'm a man, I'm a woman, I'm this, I'm that, I'm a president, I am this, I'm a CEO. Hey, you're not all any of these things. When you die, they'll cremate you, or, somebody dies, just a pot of ashes. Hey, this is what I enjoyed throughout my life. Yes, that's what you have enjoyed throughout your life. Just a pot of ashes. So what is illusion? Where else you want a better example than this? This pot of ashes. So one has to, with jnanagni dagda karmanam, one has to sharpen his or her intelligence and try to subdue the mind. Otherwise, mind is like a prostitute. If unchaste wife, yesterday I was listening, unchaste wife, what? She will go with the paramours and kill the husband also. Or unchaste husband, like mind, will go with the paramours and kill the wife also. Who is our enemy to our spiritual progress? Our senses. Who is our enemy in the spiritual progress after senses? Our mind. And our weak intelligence. Hey, subdue that. Come and attend. Come and chant the rounds sincerely. Come and attend Srimad Bhagavatam class and sharpen your intellect. And subdue the mind. You don't need so much. Whole world today, economic development. What economic development? 50 years, you cannot eat more than 2 chapatis. And second thing, the conditioning is so much. Even though you want to do it, you cannot do it. So, how do we become free from false ego? Which is making us identify with the mind. I'm an American, I'm an Indian, I'm that, I'm this, I'm European. You're not any of these things. Bhakti Tirtha Swami, probably 6-7 days before leaving the world, I relinquish my position. I relinquish my names. John Favors, Ghanshyam Das, Bhakti Tirtha Swami, Krishna Pad. They are not any, I'm not any of these things. Why? Everything has a certain relationship with other things. You're attached to. Whatever you keep on meditating, that you'll remember at the time of death, and that'll come to you next lifetime. And people forget. This has been going on for trillions of lifetimes. Every time we are married, every time we have a family, and I sang a song, I can't live without you. One time, by the power of time, you're ejected of that body became ashes, you have gone to next body, everything started afresh. This has been going on since the time immemorial. Now, finally, we have Lord Chaitanya. What is that? So what is that? Jeev jago, Gaurachandra bole, kota itar jao, Maya pisachira bole. Hey, wake up, sleeping souls. You're sleeping on the lap of Maya. Wake up. And when you address this ego, then what happens? So when you say, what is the medicine for false ego? I am your servant. Prabhu, I am your servant. Prabhu, I am your servant. I am everyone's servant. When I say I'm your, not just saying for the sake of saying, but genuinely, what can I do for you? How can I serve you? It's difficult though, but when we do that, then what happens? Krishna will give you a different vision. Moving and non-moving, you see Krishna. Prabhupada clarifies, not that you see Krishna there. This is what is that? This is an emanation of Krishna, energy of Krishna. One time, his disciple asked Prabhupada, what is it? What does it mean by seeing Krishna everywhere? Prabhupada said, okay, you come to my room and you see my specs. What do you think? Oh, this is Prabhupada's specs. So you, as soon as you see the specs, immediately the specs are reminding you of me. Prabhupada's specs. This is Krishna's microphone. This is Krishna's harmonium, Krishna's computer. These are Krishna's devotees. So when you deal like that, Krishna keeps on giving you higher and higher visions. First thing that happens, you will be able to exhibit a higher control on your higher control on your mind with a sharpened intellect. You'll be able to make a better and better decisions, and you'll be peaceful. Then what happens as you make progress? Nishta ruchi asakti bhava and prema. Premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena. That's what it's mentioned here. Santas de hridayeshulam kirti. Sham sundar vachinti guna sarupam govinda. So when you slowly attain that love of God, unlimited joy. What is that? Unlimited joy. So that's why Nashta Prayasha Udrasha Nityam Bhavat Sevya. Serve to book Bhagavat by reading it, devotee Bhagavat by serving him, by following his instructions, spiritual masters and senior devotees. When you do that, what happens? You come to mode of goodness. Then what happens? So you become happy. Evam prasanna manasa bhagavad bhakti yogita bhagat tattva jnana mukta sangasya ayate. So you continue performing bhakti, it will happen. Vidide vradikandi chidyanti sarvasamsaya kshayanti chasya karmana drushtva evatmanishware. So what happens? That boost knot that is binding the soul to the body. What is that knot? False ego. Tuck, it's cut. Not by you, by Krishna's grace. Chidyanti sarvasamsaya. All the doubts are gone, misgivings are removed. Then you see yourself as a seer, the soul, different from the body, different from the mind, different from the intelligence. Bhagavatam is enough, but for that reason, so then what is that? How do I do that? I'm very attached to my children, very attached to my spouse. Anybody you enjoy, especially opposite sex in private, one time, you'll never forget them. You'll never forget them. Again and again, you put your hand in any grostha's pocket of heart, you'll get 3 pictures. First spouse, second children, third the assets. Am I right on that? These are the 3 things will come. That's it. And you keep on meditating on that. Yad bhavam tad bhavati. Whatever you meditate, Antikalachimameva. Smaran Muktva Kalevaram. How difficult it actually, Rohindan one day said 16%, In a week, I can remember about Krishna only 16%, means you have 16% of chance of remembering Krishna at the time of death, he said. He came out with very nicely, actually. So, material life, career, family life, and his spiritual life. And he came out it's a nice calculation. I liked it, actually. So, and it's true. Not that, sometimes we think, my mind is bad, but my mouth is very good. I told this myself at least. And one day my mind will become pure or what? People think like that. I'm sure many people in the Western, in the non-material, material world, they would think like that. People who are little pious. My mind is very bad. One day it will become pure. So don't clean your home morning and evening. So 60 years later, your home will become pure or what? Definitely not. You have to vacuum morning and evening to keep the home clean. So likewise, we have to consciously bathe our consciousness with the power of the holy name and power of devotional service, morning and evening. And we are not a church operating on weekends. It's a 24/7 Krishna conscious process. It is very easy to put tilak on the face. Very easy to do, kantimala. Very easy to wear kantimala. But what is the consciousness inside? So real thing is, real progress is real, and that is eternal, not the externals. So what is that? Chaitanya Charitamrita is filled with devotees. I was thinking Suklambar Brahmachari. Nobody knew him. He was a beggar. When people go for begging, they would just get some cheap rice. And another personality, Kola Sridhar. Lord Chaitanya said during Mahaprakash Leela, bring Sridhar. Who is Sridhar? Nobody knows. First thing I want to, when I become a devotee, I want everyone to know I am become a devotee. I want everyone, I am a very big devotee. I want everyone to know, I have this. Devotees do not even know Sridhar. Hare Krishna. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he offered Sridhar. Sridhar, how much you have suffered, Sridhar? Sridhar 55, he has more holes in his dhoti than the actual dhoti, and he has more holes in his roof than the actual roof. But Sridhar heart was imbued with the love of God. To chant the whole night. See how much perfection he has, how much perfection he has achieved on his senses. Not like us. That was not Sridhar. And what was the pleasure he was relishing on the body of the on his consciousness? Lord Chaitanya is telling Sridhar, I can make you an emperor. I can make you equal to what is his name? Kubera. I can give you all the 8 mystic perfections. And if it's enough, come back to the spiritual world. I'll give you the liberation also. Sridhar said, no, I don't want it. And devotees may reject all these things, but come back to spiritual world, I think, okay. So, Bhurjana Prabhu writes, devotees want to go back to Godhead not to serve, but they want to become free from suffering. The reality, he mentions in that book actually, chanting, That is true. Because when you have a lot of knowledge, you'll understand the sufferings of this world. Others, they don't know, So what makes anyone live is hope. But you know very well, old age will give me anyway trouble, even though I'm happy. In that day also, there is adhyatmika, misery due to body and mind. I recovered from my cold only 15 days ago. Something else will come. Maybe my basement will be flooded. Maybe, of course, everything is going on fine. Winter is going to come in 3 months anyway. So with knowledge, you are fully aware of the miseries. Then where is that happiness? But of course, Prabhupada said chant and be happy. Prabhupada never said chant and be miserable. And we can really, when you somehow attain to the state of soul, you will definitely be happy. You will be more or less immune from all these, external situations. If you are situated internally very well. But we need to be situated internally very well. So if we cannot spiritualize our relationships, they will become the cause of bondage. I'm honest. If we cannot spiritualize the relationships, they will become the cause of bondage. For that matter, anything in this world, So, the simplest, Lord Chaitanya has given the easiest process. Srila Prabhupada was in ecstasy telling you are not the body, you're a spirit soul. But how many of us have realized that? So, but at least the process Srila Prabhupada has given, when we follow diligently, then if not today, tomorrow, in future, definitely we'll do that. But we have to diligently, sincerely, patiently follow the process. You do your homework. None of us knew Mother Nansindra was so exalted. But she did, she made it. Wow, I've never seen anything like that in my life, actually. So I'm sure she has immense love for her kids and husband and for her assets. So yes, because she did her homework, Krishna, the grace has to come. Without the grace, we cannot. So, the point I want to make is, Vaisesha Prabhu says, I don't want to be a big devotee. I want to be a sincere devotee. I want to be a sincere devotee. Come and do service. Don't take up those services. That'll make you famous. Simple thing. Everyone wants to decorate Radha Govinda pujaris, but the floor is very dirty. Simple thing. So invest. The Krishna sees that also. Tiny, tiny things. Upstairs I go every time. I'm sure when we go to restaurant, when we leave the restaurant, we'll put the chair back. I purposefully wait for devotees. Who will put the chair back? They'll keep the chair will go like 2 feet away, and they'll go away. Means this place is for my enjoyment. Temple hall may be for my worship, but restaurant for my enjoyment. Understand here? Oh. Yeah. So when I do service, I don't want to take credit. When you take credit, you'll fall down. When you don't do service, you'll fall down. If you do service, it's a problem. If you don't do service, problem. Then how do I do that? You become Mayavadi? You will do that. No, when you do service, my Lord, Krishna gave me strength to do this. So it's Krishna. Give credit to Guru and Krishna. Shri told a nice point actually. You do sadhana for the Krishna's pleasure. I said, how do we do that? He said, quoting Prabhupada, initially I do sadhana to stay afloat. But, and Sachinandan Maharaj says this, when you chant to purify your mind, the chanting is a mode of goodness. But when you chant for the pleasure of Krishna, the chanting is transcendental. I'm repeating again. When you chant with an intent to purify your senses, purify your mind, the chanting is a mode of goodness. When you chant with a desire with an intention to get green card, the chanting is a mode of passion. When you chant so that your enemy is punished severely, the chanting is a mode of ignorance. But when you chant with a desire to please Krishna, the chanting is in the transcendental stage. So, but what is that? When we read Bhagavatam and do service in the mood of servant, what can I do for you? What can I do, Mataji? Please. In our temple, everyone should become a preacher. Preacher doesn't mean downloading all the information and it's a newcomer. Concern, service, genuine affection. We may not see the results, but I'm honest with you. Many wonderful things will happen because Krishna is Radha Gopjan always continuously watching. And on a very unexpected moment, our rope of ego, false ego, that has bound the soul to the body, definitely will be cut. And we'll attain the perfection of life. I heard in one lecture, in this life, but not after death. That is our hope, where we should try our best. Any question or comment, please do forgive me if I spoke anything wrong. As your humble servant, but very grateful for your patience. Hare Krishna. Anyone wants to add anything, any question or comment? Otherwise, we'll finish it.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Amma.
Prabhuji, you mentioned Rohini Nandan Prabhuji shared some calculation on something, and I missed that part. If you could briefly.
Like 2 months ago, a month ago, he said, but the only line I remembered in that is, he said, there's a material life, there's a family, material life means career, family, and there is spiritual life. And so you're putting 8 hours for career, 8-10 hours, travel, then family, you're giving some time, sleep, and you're giving only 2 hours, 2 hours chanting. That too is not so focused anyway. So he said, he came up with the calculation 16%, he said. 16% in a week, you're Krishna conscious, 84% you're career conscious, family conscious, asset conscious, So he said, he extrapolated saying, at the time of death, you'll remember only 16, your probability of remembering Krishna is only 16%. And your probability of remembering career and material thing is 84%.
Oh, thank you, Prabhuji, for explaining. Yep. That's so true, Prabhuji.
If you want, I'll ask him, he's here and he can give better explanation. What is
That is so true, Prabhuji.
We divide our life in three, like first will 8 hours in career and then 8 hours sleeping and then whatever family they want. Then in remaining 8 hours also will full 8 hours will not be Krishna conscious. Some of the part will be with family, some of the part will be something. Then that will be 33%. If we divide 33%, it will be around 16%. So that 16%. How much focusing on 16%? Maybe we will not be fully focused even by chanting and all that.
it is very depressing there. What he did, he said this family, 8 hours sleep, 8 hours, career. So in 8 hours, Krishna consciousness, 33. And he said, you don't remember everything, so 16% only,
Yes,
So
Prabhuji.
he's like,
Yeah, that sounds
The
depressing, but that is so true. It's a true reflection of ourselves. Yes, Prabhuji. And how can we work we have to perform the rest of the hours with Krishna consciousness. Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji.
thank you. Any other question? Yes, Prabhu.
Just to review, it was very interesting, the last part on chanting for different reasons.
Uh-huh.
I found that fascinating. And just to review, chanting in the mode of goodness to purify my heart, chanting in the mode of passion to get things,
Yes.
chanting in the mode of ignorance to punish my enemies, and then transcendental chanting. This is what I want my question to be. How can I know how can we taste that transcendental chanting?
If you are chanting for the pleasure of Krishna, that is, Sachinanda Maharaj says, it's transcendental 3 modes. Every time Draupadi was calling Krishna, it's mentioned nectar of devotion, Krishna was becoming grateful. She's calling me. It's like when the children call parents, immediately they come. You imagine father and mother, they're standing, 5-year-old kid starts calling the neighbors. And the parents will be very upset actually, why he is calling neighbors, So instead of calling demigods, we should call Krishna, because we are for the emanation of Krishna, and we are the emanation of Krishna and we are servant of Krishna. So when you call, what is that? When Gajendra was offering prayers, no demigods responded, because all these prayers are meant for one person who is the cause of all causes, source of everything. It's Krishna. So likewise, so when you call Krishna with an intent to please him, that calling is very pleasing to Krishna, and that chanting is transcendental. So then you are with Krishna. That's what Kunti says actually, when troubles, give me troubles so that I can chant you helplessly. When I chant you helplessly, then you are present in your holy name. So you are present. So I am present with you. You are present with me means what? I am liberated. I am free from cycle of birth and death. So that is what Kunti's prayer to Krishna is about. It was about actually. So chanting should be done for the pleasure of Krishna. Simple, my experience. Whenever I become helpless and chant intensely, then I will be able to focus. That's my experience. Any other question or comment? Yeah, does it answer your question?
Yeah, right.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Very nice class. When you mentioned about Srila Tolvachar, that last time I've heard it so many times, but this point struck me so much today that no one knew about him. He was not, his devotional service is not visible to others, but still he was contented and he was happy. And it's always like that, that expecting honor, expecting recognition. Because it's been there right from the beginning, which is a symptom of false ego. So how do we get rid of that, expecting recognition?
Rajoguna. Actually, one time Jayapada Maharaj said in initial stages, we are not pure devotees, we expect appreciation. There is nothing wrong. One time he said, one devotee said, my temple president doesn't appreciate me. Jayapada Maharaj said, give me the phone number, I'll call him right now. I'll call him right now to appreciate. No, we should appreciate actually. We are not pure devotees. So we need appreciation. But then he made a nice point. If you keep on expecting that appreciation, you're like a spoiled child. Because we should expect appreciation from Krishna only. At one time, not today. Initial days, okay. But after some time, we should change. When we do something, we want the whole world to know. But a day should come, I don't want anyone to know. And Giriraj Maharaj tells a nice point. Giriraj Maharaj went and gave Srila Prabhupada a ring. And Giriraj Maharaj, Prabhupada wore it. Is there. And Giriraj Maharaj wanted, hey, Prabhupada is wearing the ring. But after some time, because Giriraj Maharaj wanted everyone to know. But after some time, what happened? Listen, this is what happened. One gentleman came one day. Giriraj Maharaj was with Prabhupada. Said, the devotee, I don't know who it was, but Prabhupada, oh, you have a ring. Who gave it? And Giriraj Maharaj was looking at Prabhupada. Prabhupada said, it is private. Somebody gave it. And somebody gave it. And Prabhupada looked at Giriraj Maharaj. And he looked at the Prabhupada. You really want to know? So you need to have a lot of guts to tell Prabhupada, I want to know, right? Prabhupada said, somebody gave it. Giriraj Maharaj understood chaste wife doesn't express her love to her husband in public. Only prostitute does. Prabhupada was keeping that in a very sacred, that relationship. I don't know. So, in the initial days, when you cry, I want the whole world to know, some tears are coming. That's fine to begin with. But a day should come, you don't want anyone to know that tears are coming from your eyes. Means you're making more progress. It's purely internal, Krishna and you. So you want the whole world to know means, actually one day somebody, what is his name, this Gaur Kishore Das Maharaj, one person came and they asked him to give class. This man cried and he made everyone cry. So then everyone, oh, kya class amazing. So he was blind. Said he left, yes. Wash that place with cow dung and cow urine. It's an offense actually. Abhimar, what are you talking? Yes. Chaste wife doesn't exhibit her love for husband in public. It's purely private. These are not, you don't need to show the world how exalted you are by crying and making others. It's private. So initially there is nothing wrong expecting it, but we should pray a day should come. We don't want anyone to know our things. Jesus Christ says, when you give charity with right hand, left hand should not. So when you do service, initially today we want everyone to know, maybe after some time, we want, if Krishna knows anyway, we need to attain that stage. That should be our goal. Any other question or comment?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, just let me finish. Go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. Thank you for the wonderful class, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I had one question with regards to Rohinandan Prabhu's calculation. Can we...
Yes.
Prabhuji, as per his calculation, I mean, in general, 8 hours we spend in office times. So, by giving the fruits of whatever we are doing at office to Krishna, can we increase our percentage, Prabhuji?
Yes, fully. That is what Krishna consciousness is all about. You know, hey, 1 minute. Can somebody connect this to battery? And as I am saying, why it's still blinking? Actually, by giving the fruits of your work to Krishna, your 95 becomes bhakti. You know, so by the concept of installing Krishna in your home, picture or a deity, and offer foodstuffs, you need money, right, for to buy foodstuffs and offer it to Krishna. I told this many times. I'm sure you know that. You know, by concept of offering food to the deities and considering your 95 job becomes bhakti. When you come home, you deal with your family, your wife and kids. Sorry, I mean, I'm talking to everyone. So even if you correct them, you're their servant in your heart. You see Krishna in their heart and you deal with them. Your 6 o'clock to 10 o'clock becomes bhakti. You know, as a father, or mother, you cover the homework, or a mother cook and offer it to Krishna and feed your family. Whatever your services, you know, according as per your body, you perform those services with Krishna in the center. But then you sleep with the desire to repeat the same, all these activities the next day, the following day, for Krishna's pleasure. With that desire, you sleep with an intent to give rest to the body so that you can repeat the same activity to next day. That sleep is also Dev Bhakti. That way we can make it 24 hours Krishna conscious, whether you're Grahastha or Singh Brahmachari. One family, I told this many times, from Alashwa, this wife and husband told wife, no, they would do Mangalarti every day. So the last words before they slept were, husband told, I put the Arti plate, so we'll do Mangalarti as usual. She said, fine, we slept. The next morning she got up, she was doing, it's almost fine, husband is not getting up. She went to see, only that husband died. So what was his consciousness? He wanted to give rest to the body so that the next day would be ready for Mangalarti and the rest of the activities, day activities. Devotees say that sleep also bhakti, and he went back to Godhead. Okay? Yes.
Yes, thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay.
So in the school here, always encourage the children by giving rewards for everything they do, or giving encouraging words. And so children naturally expect that at home also. But everything they need to be encouraged or rewarded. And but that's not our way of thinking. Krishna conscious way to do it. Everything you need to do with the sense of duty. And how do we inculcate that in the children?
Yeah, that's what you're doing. You brought him today. One thing is Deshkala Patra. America is different and Eastern world is different. So if the school, they are trained to receive gift every day for 8 hours. Prime time of their life is spent in school. Actually, I'm requesting everyone to open a school. And seriously, life is not just about numbers. Prabhupada thought like that, this would not have come. There should be some sacrifice also. So, but anyway, coming back, we all should know there is a serious plan. Planning is me being made to open a school, actually. Yeah, the devotees should not just work, make money and keep yourself happy by seeing the incremental, seeing that, incremental growth of the money, We should, like trees, we should help others, actually. Krishna glorifies trees like anything in that pastime, which pastime? Dhenukasur pastime, But anyway, I don't remember exactly. But but Krishna did glorify. So anyway, the point is, what is that? Coming back to your question, what is that? Samadhana Bheda Danda. So what they are doing is Dana and Sama. Bheda is also needed. And Danda is a little dangerous in America. If they know 9/11, what is that? 9/11, so 9/11, right? Yeah. We should not go that much far, but Bheda works too, But main thing is actually if you make them responsible, If you give them, if you try to, actually, someone has growth in consciousness by reading Ramayana and Mahabharata and Bhagavatam, they'll become very mature. They'll become very, very mature. One time, one devotee, he said this boy will be asset in future, but right now is a liability. That's a nice statement. He said that here only. So this boys will be, he'll buy an asset in future, but right now is a liability. So we need to tolerate. Yes. Actually, Rambaswami made a nice point. What is that? Bringing children from Tamo Rajo to Sattva is an endeavor. We need to invest that time to uplift their consciousness. If not, suddenly they'll grow up, go to college. The trouble they give with Raja and Tamo, first of all, you'll have only patchwork. Second thing is, they'll give so much trouble. And they'll make you unhappy. So, though it is an endeavor, invest time on them to consciously elevate their consciousness to Sattva. And they'll not give so much trouble in future. If it is giving reward, I think that's fine. I'm okay with that. But don't give reward to chant. Because, I'll give you chocolate if you chant. A day will come, he can buy chocolates on his own. Then he'll give this chanting. So for chanting, we should not give reward. We should appreciate it. When father came to me and said, real story, in this community, my children are not worshipping deities. What should I do? I said, you don't tell them to do. Say, we will do. So father would do and he would make son do it. I'm honest with you, they're no names. They're very good today. Both they're exceptional. The children are doing very well exceptionally. Because the father told them, let us do it. Let us sing. Let us do Arati. Slowly what he did, once the children pick up, it will become part of their schedule. And they continue. Until that vehicle falls on the track, you need to push the vehicle. Thank you very much for your patient audience. Please do excuse me. Amma.
Hi Krishna Prabhuji, Dandas Pranam. Sorry to ask one more Siddhi question, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, you said, right, whenever you look into a Grahasta's heart, it will always be spouse, children and
assets.
Of us, time is running out and it is very scary. So if we have attachment to designation, or even if we have these three things: spouse, children, and assets. So if somehow we are reminded at the time of death that we are a devotee of the Lord and we are attached to that, is somehow we are reminded that by the mercy of other devotees. Is that a good thought while leaving the body, Prabhuji?
What is that? Tadera Charanase Bhakta Sanevas Janama Janamadi E Abhilash. Narottam Thakur says. Stay in the association of devotees and do your homework. We have a hope one day one devotee will come and chant the holy name in our ears, because we cannot. We may not be able to remember Krishna. So that is our hope. So, if you think you will make it, you will never make it. So we have to depend on the grace of Krishna only. So don't worry, I just use Grihastha as the example. It is for everyone. Grihasthas are brahmacharis, or vanaprasthas or sannyasis. If you are attached to things that are not directly connected to Krishna, then definitely, what is that? That will create bondage actually. So what is our hope? We will continue our sadhana in the association of devotees. We will continue rendering service, and one day Krishna will pick me up. Well, let me tell you, Grihasthas are in the society. They are bringing up children in a responsible way. These children are the tomorrow's citizens, responsible citizens. So you're doing that. You're doing the job. You're shouldering that responsibility so nicely. Don't you think? I'm just telling this, but don't you know Krishna is very happy with you? As long as you please your Guru and Krishna and senior devotees with your behavior, trust me. Yes, Guru and Krishna are very pleased, when they are pleased, we make immense progress, and of course we are not stones. We have we love children. Arjuna also loved Abhimanyu. Arjuna also cried after listening Bhagavad Gita from Krishna directly. But Prabhupada says, somebody asked this question, Prabhupada, why 10th day after listening Bhagavad Gita live from Supreme Personality of Godhead, Arjuna cried. Prabhupada said, Prabhupada, devotees are not hard-hearted. Devotees are soft-hearted. Want to speak of your son? When somebody else's son dies also, Arjuna would cry. We also die. Devotees are soft-hearted. But Prabhupada said, Arjuna did not give up his work. Next day also he went to the battle. So we are not rocks. We have emotions, And if you want, I'll tell you one more example. One day, one devotee went to Prabhupada and said, Prabhupada, I want to take sannyas. Prabhupada said, why? Prabhupada, recently my wife died and tears didn't come. Then I realized I have become fully renounced. And so then I think I am very fit for sannyas and I don't have any attachment for anything. So that's why I want to take sannyas. Prabhupada said, first thing you do, go and get married. So what? So when you can't cry for somebody whom you knew very well, how can you cry for somebody that you do not know? In future, when you become a preacher, you don't know anybody, but still you should cry for them. So first develop that emotion, So then you'll be able to cry for people you do not know also. You're understanding or not? So we need that feelings. Bhakti means emotion. When you keep Krishna in the center, that emotion purifies us. So yes, wife and husband or wife and father and children is one relationship. But the same relationship, God brother, God sister, or God brother relationship, that is liberating to children and the family also. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, we have Kalamkan Prabhu and Gaurav, Sri Gaurav Prabhu, they're both initiated. So the relationship is father and son is one relationship. Now God brother relationship, that's better. That is purifying, right? So now that tomorrow your daughter will come and say, Mommy, yes, don't go away. I don't know who you are. We are no longer mom and daughter. That is impersonal. That is impersonal is so prevalent. No, why not? So if you embrace, this is because this is my daughter, you embrace, that is one relationship. This is Krishna given daughter, you embrace, that is another relationship. Krishna given daughter, the moment you bring Krishna in the center, that relationship is purifying to you. In the end of the day, she is your daughter, no doubt. But a Krishna given daughter, that relationship is actually liberating you and the daughter also. Does it answer your question?
Yes. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you very much. And actually, I want to say one line. We should preach. Come and distribute books. Why people are not coming nowadays, actually? So we should do service. If we want to get rid of our ego, book distribution is the wonderful means, because people reject us like anything. And one thing we can learn in book distribution is rejection, which is very good medicine for false ego. Yes or no? How wonderful it is to give lecture left and right, and hour after hour after hour when somebody is listening. How difficult it is to distribute books standing on the road when nobody is coming and buying 1 hour later also. Yes or no?
Yes.
So now theory is over indoors. Now let us do the practical outdoors. Right? So farmers market. So it's 9:30 and in 1 hour we should all assemble here. And or you can directly come to the venue. So some people can go to Muir Road, some people different areas. But we need to do this, please. Vaiseshi Prabhu, I've seen this in San Jose. Everyone in the temple, not just 5 people, 10 people. And even if you don't distribute book, that's okay. Come and do kirtan. Actually, Krishna Bhagavan, this Prabhu is telling, if you just come and do kirtan, by hearing the kirtan, books will go. Right or not? Krishna Bhagavan, am I right? You want people to come and do kirtan or not? So I'll tell you, 2 years ago, this Prabhu came. He became so scared. He took temple visiting cards and telling, come to our temple, he started giving it. That's it. And come to actually this it happened in New York. Come to Rath Yatra, he started distributing Rath Yatra flyers. Come to our temple. He did not venture to distribute one book. No, this Rath Yatra, wow, he became a pro. He did much better than I did. I said, Prabhu, amazing. So it all boils down to the desire. Krishna will give you the strength if you step, if you, go one step further. That's why Vaisesha Prabhu calls it, what is that? Touching the pavement. Let us all touch the pavement. Krishna will decide who will take the books. Do whatever you can do. You want to give a temple visiting card, fine. You want to be part of Kirtan, fine. You want to stay, approach, distribute books, fine. Anything you do is fine. Let us touch the pavement. Okay? Dandot Pranam Shropada Hare Krishna. I know, what is that? Okay. Wait, actually, Janani Prabhu is coming on 14th, 15th Saturday. They are bringing with Padukas, not this Saturday, but next Saturday. Janani Prabhu will be here. They came for their purpose. We want our purpose to be served. We want their Padukas. This is actually Nyayak Chakradam. So Nityananda Prabhu is coming. And so I request you spread the message, especially locals, and bring as many friends as you can so that they'll receive blessings. But needless to say, we should know they are coming for fundraising. As simple as that. They want money. But okay, you can do $10. Huh?
You can tell that after.
That's what I told, right?
In the because the last time.
No, you can tell that. Dandot Hare Krishna Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Dandot.